We're on page 313. I'll repeat Maran. We read it last week, but I'll repeat it again. HaShoel mechavero talit, one who borrows a talit from his friend. She'ena mitzuyetzet, that doesn't have tzitzit on it.
Would you call it a talit without tzitzit?
Yeah, he goes, I want to buy a talit, so you would call it a talit. It's any four-corner garment, but for our sake, let's call it a talit, because that's really the only four-corner garment we wear nowadays. Yeah?
Okay.
So you have a talit that doesn't have tzitzit. Patur malatit
But I
batzitzit.
understand in the synagogue, old synagogue, they may have it, but somebody carrying it as a talit in the bag? What kind of guy is that carrying it?
No, he has, let's say in his house, an extra for when this one gets old. He went to Israel, had a sale 2 for 1 special. He bought an extra talit but doesn't have strings on it because he's not using it yet. So his friend says, listen, I lost my talit on the flight, can I borrow yours? So he says, sure. You don't have to put strings on it for the first 30 days.
No strings attached.
Dichtiv ksuvtecha, it says you're covering, velo shel acherim, and not the covering of somebody else. But after 30 days, chayav midrabanan. Even though biblically clothing that doesn't belong to you doesn't require tzitzit, a rabbi say that once you wear something for 30 days, people will assume that it's yours, and you mipnei marit ha'ayin, because it looks like it's yours. That's called marit ha'ayin. It looks like you're wearing clothing that doesn't have tzitzit. That's yours. Haga says the Rama, v'im hichzero toch 30 yom, v'chazar v'lakcho. If he returned it in the 30-day period, then he took it back again. And no mitztaref. Those 2 time periods don't add up to make one 30-day period. Rather, we require 30 days. We learned all this already before. If you borrow it when it has strings, you make a blessing on it immediately, even though it doesn't belong to you. Let's look at the bottom of the page, 313, or the middle of the page, 113. One who borrows the same exact thing that we just read. Let's skip down to the line V'yesh li stapek. Do you see that? It's an indentation and then the word V'yesh.
Yes.
5 lines down.
Oh, there.
V'yesh li stapek. We have a question. Bebeged ha'asui mishar minim. If it's not a wool garment, but it's a cotton tzitzit. She'ena mitzemer u'pishtin. They're not from linen or wool. And he borrows it for more than 30 days. In chayav lahatil bo tzitzit. Do we have to put tzitzit on it? What's the question here? Biblically, if you borrow a wool garment, do you have to put on tzitzit for the first 30 days?
No, you just said no. But
Rabbinically?
No.
No.
Yeah.
When do the rabbinic decree kick in?
on day 30.
After day 30.
Perhaps.
Right.
Biblically, after day 30, does anything change? No. You still don't have to put on tzitzit. So this is only because it's a biblical mitzvah. And we don't want people to look at us in the wrong... So
it's
the
still
rabbis made
maritime.
still maritime. The question is, what about according to the Shulchan Aruch? Tzitzit that are not wool or linen, you only fulfill a rabbinic obligation with them. Not a biblical obligation then. What our rabbis demand from you on a cotton tzitzit, after 30 days, to be strict and put strings in it. Or because it's not a biblical mitzvah in the first place, they wouldn't require. It's 2 rabbinic mitzvot, meaning they're doubling up together. Maybe that means you're exempt.
So wool, you like you're a talit katan.
Yeah.
Wool, so it has a different requirement than a cotton.
Then,
You bought like
than
a
this
cotton.
plastic one here.
Plastic.
This is polyester.
God, polyester.
It's a polyester acrylic, that's what they call it. But it's a plastic tzitzit. I would be very afraid to see what would happen if you would light one corner with a lighter.
No, don't try.
Yeah, don't try,
It
right?
shrinks.
So in this situation, does this talit require tzitzit after 30 days? It's only a rabbinic mitzvah. It's not a biblical mitzvah. And it's only rabbinic stringency to put on tzitziot. Do we add up 2 rabbinic mitzvot together to make you do something? There's an argument among the rabbis. Some say it doesn't make a difference what it's made out of. Some say it does make a difference what it's made out of. What you should do. What happens? You borrow a talit from your friend. Shel arba knafot, with 4 corners. She'en bo tzitzit. It doesn't have tzitzit. It's a meshach 30 yom for 30 days. So you borrow a tzitzitless talit for 30 days. V'hitil ba shel tzitzit, and then you put on tzitzit inside of it. You tie tzitzit to it. The minhag Sfaradim, ve'edot ha-mizrach, according to the Sfaradim, shekiblu aleim horot Maran Shulchan Aruch, because we've accepted upon ourselves the rulings of Maran, eno rashai levarich alav, we are not allowed to make a blessing on this tzitzit. Va'af minhag Ashkenazim ra'u yoter shal levarich alav, and even according to the Ashkenazim, it's more proper not to make a blessing on it. Umutar, but the question is, can I go out to the street with this in a place where there's no eruv? Umutar letzet b'Shabbat litzor leshut harabim. You can. It's not like the one without the strings that we read about the other week.
Why would a four-cornered garment without strings? Because you couldn't wear it because it has to have a tzitzit on it. But what changes the status from, say, like that of a coat or a jacket? Or a
We had this question then. I don't remember the answer that we gave then.
Or the three-cornered, where it's like one piece in front, two in back, or something like that. I think there was a discussion on that.
The question here is interesting. Zev's asking a good question. The question is, you put tzitzit on this clothing, right? Were you obligated to put tzitzit on this? Were you, in the first 30 days, were you obligated to put tzitzit on this talit?
No.
No. The question here is, so therefore, that's the reason we don't make a bracha, because how can you make a bracha on something you're not obligated to? The question is, can I carry the talit out into the street? Or even wear it? Maybe I'm carrying the tzitzit on Shabbat, because the tzitzit don't belong there, because you're not obligated in this mitzvah. So maybe that's considered carrying the strings, not the talit. That's the difference between that and a coat.
I think if something's tied, then you can, because you're not carrying in a normal
But
fashion.
you are. You can't tie your keys to your shirt button and walk out with it in the street.
What about those people who wear the keys on the belt?
I told that belt, I don't talk about it.
But we're not going there.
I don't have a good enough
Of course, now we have an
handle on
ordinance.
this for here in this regard.
You see those belts?
Yeah.
In this regard, we'll say the talit at the tzitzit at the very least they look like a good decoration on it. It's there, it's a decoration. Not as a mitzvah, you can carry the decoration on Shabbat.
Maybe for you, but other people don't think that way.
Let me ask you a question. You wear a suit on Shabbat anymore?
Yeah.
Do you always button your buttons? What about the button that's
Front button?
The button you don't
Top
use.
button, only top
No, and the style is you're not supposed to button that.
Very good. So that button you're carrying it on Shabbat. It doesn't serve any purpose.
Right.
Your top button that you leave open.
And on your sleeves, you actually have 3 fake buttons or 4 fake buttons.
Yeah,
So why can
That's
you?
why I switched to
Why
t-shirts.
can you carry those? Why can you carry those on Shabbat?
Sadiq?
Why can you carry those buttons on Shabbat?
Why? Because it's just decoration.
it's part of the
It's
suit.
part of the decoration.
And it's what people normally wear on a suit.
And that's if it didn't have the buttons, your suit would look funny.
Yes.
Understand?
Oh,
Yeah.
Now, what about the extra buttons in the bottom that are tucked into your pants and the shirt? It's a great question.
Some place fashionable to
but isn't it part of the shirt?
No, not everything you sew onto your clothing is. What if you want to sew yourself one onto your shirt?
What if it's like sewing patches on your jeans? It's still part of your jeans, right?
The patches on your jeans serve a purpose on your jeans.
have. Like a hole in the
Oh, the buttons. Oh, yeah, purpose.
There's gonna ask, what's the definition of a purpose?
No, I see the difference. Something that's decorative. That's the little 3 extra buttons, which I think
What
is
about the
quite
cuffs on
silly
your
myself. But or are they because just in case you lose a button, you can
No,
take
they're
one of
there
them
just
off?
because that's part of the decoration.
I remember reading
What's so
something.
decorative about it?
Right,
Well, there's the loose buttons are on like the shirt tails. Those they usually give you like a little.
I remember seeing this.
Yeah, I've got like 3 extra right here.
I remember seeing that in the book of Halakha.
What the?
Most shirts give you. I mean, I bet
Yeah,
your
most of them
shirt has it too. It give
not
you like a-
free.
That is
It's an
useful.
incredible thing because more often than not, if your shirt starts losing buttons, you don't go to replace them. You just buy a new shirt. So it's like an outdated kind of trick, unless your shirts are very expensive.
Well, I think it's the what happens is you don't notice it, but the cleaners they break them. They're always like breaking
It's
them.
true.
In the cleaners,
You're right.
And then they take it off. So
fashion.
the
You should
answer,
know, fashion. This whole world is full of people with very small minds. There are people who are fashion, but I'm sure they use them for good things, but this whole dress to impress and style and trends and Ribono Shel Olam, you're just a servant of Hashem. But we focus so much on these things. What's the difference between my shirt and someone else's shirt they bought for $200? It's gonna wear out at the same rate. It's gonna be the same. They're both cotton. That one came from Egypt. I don't know. Let's spend with the Egyptian.
Most ladies are very particular about the dress and bottoms.
Yeah.
But we are copying that too.
I can vouch that sometimes more expensive lasts longer because I used to buy pants I used to rip in the seat constantly.
Very good. So there are articles of clothing that when you pay more for them, you're getting better quality. Fine. I agree. Not everything is like that. It's true. Yeah. I'll give you a great example.
So sometimes it's
How much money ladies spend on shoes? I'm not telling you about buying a lot of shoes. That's not what I'm telling you. Their pair of shoes are very expensive. And if you compare the material there to the amount of material you get in a man's shoe, half the price. It's funny, as a Torah scholar, you guys are Torah scholars, to look at the world even in the lens of a Torah scholar. They're being stolen from.
yeah.
The shoe doesn't last long, they always fall apart, they always break, they're always ripping, they're always buying new ones, and they're paying double, triple the price you pay for a pair of shoes that you buy every 6 months.
They're supposed to do that.
They're buying the
They're
name,
supposed to do that.
the fundy, the
So we're being a slave to someone else's desire of what is a
Gucci.
fashion.
Gucci, yeah,
It's a very sad thing.
Prada.
It's a sad thing. Slaves of fashion.
I mean, it used to be, you even see this today. My parents have appliances in their kitchen they bought in the 80s, and they still use them. Then there are things that I bought when I got married that stopped working already. And it must have been that once upon a time, there was a desire of, I'm going to make something that will last forever. And today it's, no, I want to make something that eventually will break, so you buy the newer model. It's a change, it's a shift in what they're giving consumers. You see people driving cars from who knows how many years ago, and then other people, they bought cars 5 years ago, they're already breaking down, they're selling them, they're replacing them.
Usually American-made cars.
But this mentality is,
Planned obsolescence.
Right.
it's gneva.
It's
Not everything in the world throws at you. You're not what Rav Peret says. You're not dust on the floor that the broom should come and sweep you every direction. Welcome.
Yeah,
I was just asking about you. The return of the jack.
Yeah, thank you.
Return of the Jack. Go ahead.
Jack Parra.
Jedi.
The jack is back.
Jack in the box. What are they cooking?
Okay, the rest of the halakha, what if you rent a talit from your friend? What if you borrow it on condition of returning it? Not condition. I'm trying to.
There's a new business idea for you. Rent a talus.
All right, page 319. This example comes up a lot.
$319.
319. HaShoel michavero talit. If you borrow a talit from your friend, shehi mitzuyetzet kilchata, which has tzitzit on it, proper tzitzit,
Hilchata? What's the word?
according to halacha,
Oh, okay.
meaning kosher tzitzit. That's the term. We use kosher a lot in the in the Torah. It's really used for very specific things, food. Hilchata means according to the law. Al-manat titpalel ba, you borrow it from your friend in order to daven.
So
You
it's,
come to the Beit Knesset, you forgot your talit at home. You see that, Eli is in New York and he has the talit up there. And I'm going to borrow Eli's talit. Imagine such a story. Are you allowed to make a bracha on someone else's talit? It's not yours. Not because of stealing. We assume that he would let you use his talit. The question here is, do you make you're not obligated to. If this talit was a four-cornered garment and you borrowed it, could you wear it without strings?
You mean just
Just
Wear it?
wear it.
why? It's a garment.
But it's a four-cornered garment without strings.
They said you can wear for up to 30
Very
days.
good. Up to 30 days. Yes. So when you're borrowing this talit, you technically don't have to put those tzitzit there. Can you make a bracha on something you're not obligated on? You were not obligated on those tzitzit.
You shouldn't. Might be in vain.
Might be in vain.
And
Mikar hadin, rashai levarchana. The basic halakha is you're allowed to make a blessing on,
or are allowed.
because you're borrowing a kosher talit. V'chen pashat minhag, and this is the custom, but it's not what everyone agrees on. Everyone agrees on this opinion to be okay, but some would say it's better not to. You're putting yourself in a question of whether you're making a bracha on the right mitzvah. Umikol makom lechatchila, the best option is, if you have to borrow someone else's talit, tov shivakesh min hamashil. It's better to ask the lender, the one who's lending it to you. So Eli would have to be in San Diego for this one. Shomar befirush, to say explicitly, shenotana b'matana manat achzir, he's giving it to you as a gift, which you will return. What does that mean? Matana manat lachzir.
It's pretty weird. I've heard of like
This
lulavs
concept
too.
exists in halakha.
Oh, the whole lulav thing, yeah.
I don't want you to do a mitzvah with a borrowed article because you're not really going to get the full mitzvah. Rather, I'm giving it to you as a gift. You own it. So long, meaning if I were something to happen to it, it's yours. It's yours. But I know you're going to give it back to me. I want that when you have it, it completely belongs to you.
And that's what we do with the lulav. And
Very
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Which is why we can't give a child our lulav before we make a blessing on it. You know that. People do this a lot. They make this mistake. The first day of Chag, they go to shul, so they want to give their child to make the blessing first. On the rest of the days of Chag, it's okay, because the mitzvah of shaking lav and etov is only biblical on the first day. The rest of the days, it's rabbinic. On the first day, you need to fulfill this mitzvah on the highest level possible because it's biblical. A child, yechol liknot, he's able to acquire something. He's able to take something into his possession. But according to halakha, a child is not able to give something out of his possession. So essentially, you can give your child the lav and etov, and he will own it. But he cannot halachically give it back to you,
But-
because he's not adult enough to give it back to you.
a non-adult can own? A child can own?
Can
things?
own, but not give. I don't know what the opposite would be too. But cannot not sell, cannot transfer it back
Divest.
to you.
Transfer is good, yeah.
You can't divest or
He doesn't have the dat, the halachically mandated intellect to do such a thing.
So mikvah tvila is one of those things you could say kosher on, because like when women immerse and they come up, the
You could
mikvah lady
use
says
kasher.
kosher. That's what I always.
You could.
Plenty of loophole.
There's a mikvah lady customs are their own little thing they go on over there. But essentially, what they're saying is that tvila hayta kshera. Why is there a lady in the mikvah? She's only there for one
Just to
purpose.
see the hair go
Just to
under.
see the hair go under, nothing else. You should be quiet the rest of the time she's there. It's a problem. A lot of ladies don't go to the mikvah properly because of the lady who's there in the mikvah. She wants her mitzvah, she should sit on the side. They say kasher because they want to say the tefillah, the immersion was kasher, it fulfilled the requirements. It was proper. Yeah, you could use the word kshera there, but see, the word wouldn't be kasher, it would be kshera, but someone would have to know Hebrew to know that. They should say kshera, kshera, kshera. Because tevilah, immersion is in the feminine, so kasher is in the masculine, kshera would be in the feminine. We don't want to make anybody mad. Just they can say whatever they need to say. I'll say it serves another good purpose. You're all adults in here. Another good purpose why there's a lady in the mikvah, and generally it's a religious lady, so someone who is she herself is a kshera. According to the Gemara, the first person that a woman sees, or not first person, the first animal, being, creature that a woman sees when she comes out of the mikveh has a very big influence on the soul that will come to the world afterwards.
Wasn't there a great rabbi who sat right outside the mikvah so the woman
Right.
would see
Right.
and have beautiful kids?
Yes.
Rav
Today, if
Kami?
that would happen,
There would
we'd
be a
get in
big
trouble.
problem, yeah.
Um,
It already happened a little late.
Even then, they already asked questions on him, but he said that he is a different caliber of holiness. That he
He
says
was
they all look like white ducks to him.
That's
That's
around my police car.
Police car. Shem Shmo. So I'll tell you the truth. It's a good minhag. A person's wife goes to the mikveh if it's relevant to be there, to be the only. Don't let them go alone. So much so in the Gemara, you had rabbis who, when their wife would come out and meet somebody, they would go back to the mikvah a second time. It's very important. I cannot. I know it sounds superstitious, but there's an inyan. There's certain things that according to Kabbalah, according to the Gemara, they're important matters.
That's important. It's really actually very practical because what your eyes see is where your mind goes.
Very good.
And that influences you when you're thinking later and whatever
And
activity
so at
you're
the
doing.
very least, this lady serves that the first person that she saw, technically, was a kosher lady, which is important. Not a man. Men should not be around the mikvah. There are places where they even have signs, men do not congregate here. It's a problem, because sometimes the mikvah is next to a shul.
Yeah.
Ladies come down from the
they
shul.
have that as a dot.
I don't know what happens.
They had a
I'm
sign
not sure
in
what the
front of
Well,
the-
no, but the thing is, we're told real explicitly many times when we're coming out of shul to take off at night and not hang around the parking
What
lot.
about during Marev or Daf Yomi or...
After? But I mean, you're not supposed to go out during you're supposed to stay in the shul during the
Right, it's just,
Kehillat.
okay. So I
But
mean, they have a protocol in order.
the
of it.
protocol, yeah.
That's a very important-
Because, well, I mean, for one thing, women don't want to be seen going in, and then when they
Yeah, of
come
course.
out...
I mean, just on a personal
It's
level, they
huge,
don't want to be
yeah.
seen. It's also in a not sanua. You should know there was a big mikubal. They call him a mikubal. And in this case, it's funny. He's not Ashkenazi mikubal, not a Sephardic mikubal, which is rare because you normally don't. Ashkenazim have a good character trait, which they don't believe every idiot who tells you he's a mikubal. They, in general, are very skeptical. It's a good midah to have. The Sfaradim, every guy who shows up and tells you he's a Kabbalist, they don't, oh, we saw him flying the magic carpet. We gave us strings. I don't know what the. It's a problem. Sfaradim have a. You have to. It's a problem. Mechila. And this one, though, clearly he made it big also in Ashkenazi circles. That's why I'm telling you it's impressive. He must be a big Torah scholar because he's not taken very lightly. Very famous and very old. And he came to LA 3 years ago. Somebody wanted to take me to go get a blessing from him. The rumor on the street about him is that he, unfortunately, is not very modest when it comes to matters of women.
Oh.
Never been proven. A lot of accusations and allegations, and it hasn't been proven. And so I reached out. So I don't go to every baba that comes to town. I called up Rav parents. I was very careful never to speak about people in general. And our parents told me, stay away from this man like you stay away from fire. I said, why? So I once gave a lecture in a place that he was at. And we walked together, me, him, and a third rabbi to the bus stop. And this man, the whole time we were at the bus stop, we had our backs to the mikvah, and he kept looking into the window, into the mikvah.
Voyeur.
This man has problems. And just because he knows a lot of Torah, I don't know, he knows a lot of Gemara, Zohar, I don't know what he knows. He has serious problems. Stay away from such a person. And so there are so many reasons why a mikveh should have a separate entrance, a private entrance. It's very important. It's I cannot stress enough. Not even from a halachic level on her end of going back to the mikveh, but on just a normal tzanua.
There was a picture on Facebook today of the mikveh with a sign that said, "Do not play Pokemon Go in this area." I went down to Balboa Park the other night with Edith, and there was like 1,000 people in the Rose Garden. I said, "What's going on?" They're all young people, all staring at their phones. This new fad, this Pokemon Go game.
Some random people like showed up at the Chabad school, wandering around over there, and freaked out security. And you're like, "What are you guys doing here?" But apparently, there's some like real treasures that were dropped in the Chabad parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So in just the last note on this. It's important in general, anything that comes to do with this topic, not just mikvah, but anything similar to it. Kavod Hashem haster davar. It's honorable to hide things. It's very difficult sometimes. It's a Friday night, there are guests, there are in-laws, the people always have those people who are prying, who are asking, oh, where did you disappear to? Oh, where's the... Oh, how come you can't go out with us on Wednesday night? Oh, how come... These people, don't even knock them. They're just... I have a meeting. I don't know. I have to go buy something at Costco, but it's 10 o'clock at night. Okay, CVS. I'll make up something. Just never, ever, ever let someone else pry into part of your life that is none of their business.
Absolutely.
And it's a rule. That rule is also Tamnei Chamim. I mean, there are times when people come to Torah scholar to ask for advice in these matters, so that happens, okay? But sometimes you'll find that there are serious problems that people don't know, that a Torah scholar also has to follow the laws of modesty He also can ask you all kinds of questions that you don't have any obligation to answer. Sometimes, unfortunately, we're seeing this now in Israel. There's a Torah scholar now supposedly, I don't know him. He's coming back in an airplane to allow Israeli police to arrest him. Because part of how he, in his crooked mind, was he would just ask people all kinds of things just to know about their life, to know about it's a disgusting thing. And Torah scholars don't have any more allowance than another person in the laws of tzniut. Hashem didn't give one Torah to rabbis and one Torah to people. They have the same Torah. It's different in our religion than other religions. Other religions, a priest has certain dispensations because he's a man of God. But that's just the contrary. Moshe Rabbeinu gets in trouble for things that other people wouldn't get in trouble for. Because he's held to a different standard that's higher, not more lax. When I was in Yerushalayim, you could tell that Christianity is a false religion just by watching the way the priests and the monks would walk around. They'd have these tour groups that would come in from Russia, from China, from France, and I don't know which denominations, and there's so many different kinds of churches in Yerushalayim, I don't know who's who. But this father, who's not allowed to be married, his 3 ladies are holding onto him and walking, he has an arm around somebody, he's gonna... Well, I don't know. I mean, imagine the rabbi and we walk around in the street, his arm around some other lady, and this is part of their Via de la Rosa walk. They're doing the famous walk of spirituality, hugging the priest. You could tell such a thing. This man has no. It's for that reason why our rabbi said people should get married,
Right.
because that's okay. Borrowing talitot. How do we get there? So you borrow someone's talit, Eli. So we asked him, with children, yeah, okay, yeah. And we told, you have to be able to ask him, Eli, can you please give me the talit as a gift, so that I can make a bracha according to all the opinions. Now look in parentheses, or brackets, V'im en hamashir yodea mahi matana al manat lachazir. I've seen this before. A yeshiva guy will go over to some guy in synagogue and say, hey, do you mind giving me your talit as a gift in order to return it to you? Hey, listen, what are you talking about? A gift? I don't want to give you my talit as a gift. No, just give it to me as a gift, and I'll return it to you. He says, no, I'll let you borrow it. I don't want to give it to you as a gift. What are you talking about? He says, no, please, just tell me that you'll give it to me as a gift. I don't want to tell you to give. He always thinks the yeshiva guy's trying to steal his talit. I don't know what's going on here. I'll tell you when you go to Hatikva, buy your own talit. You know what you want from me? In this situation, you have to explain.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, because according to some opinions, I can't make a bracha on a talit that's borrowed.
Right.
So I'd much rather make a bracha. Yeah, this is an important thing to do. So I wish he has been.
Send him the
I
story.
should explain to him.
How about when someone goes to the Torah and they're an Ashkenaz before, married or whatever, that they're not wearing one and they have to put a talit on?
Read the next sentence with me right now.
Okay.
HaSho'el mechaverot talit. Someone who borrows from his friend a talit. Shehi mitzuyetzet kilchada. The second paragraph. It has titziot on it. Al menat la'alot laTorah. In order to get an aliyah to the Torah.
Right.
Or la'avor lifnei hativa. Or in order to be the chazan. This is especially popular in where it's Ashkenazi synagogues, where the young people don't have talitot of their own. I don't know how many times Birkat Kohanim, you're an Ashkenazi synagogue, someone comes to borrow your talit. Because they need a talit, they're the Kohen, but they don't have their own talit. Oshu Kohen hotel of Duchan, or is a Kohen who wants to go see Birkat Kohanim. Lo yivarech aleh.
They don't bless it.
They do not make a blessing on it. But in some Ashkenazi circles, they call Birkat Kohanim Duchaning.
Right.
Duchaning comes from the word Duchan. Duchan is the stage, the platform on which the Kohanim used to stand on. So it literally means like platforming, staging. Why that word became a verb as opposed to a noun, I don't know.
Because it's not blessing.
It's not blessing. It should say to benching. I don't know what it should say. That's the proper word. To give Birkat Kohanim, but I'm not a Yiddish expert, and my wife will probably laugh at this part of the video.
So you
V'im.
Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead. No, you can finish.
No, so
No, just so the person who gets called to the Torah and borrows it
shouldn't make a blessing on it.
should not, and usually they don't. Is what I
No,
V'im notna lo beferush b'matana v'dachzir. But if you specifically tell him, I'm giving it to you as a gift to return to me, v'ashu'en mechaven lekayem b'mitzvah tzitzit, rashai levarach aleh, and he has in mind to fulfill the mitzvah tzitzit, then he will make a blessing on it. Here there are two problems. The guy who's borrowing it isn't borrowing it for the mitzvah of tzitzit. So there's two. How is this different than the case of the guy who's borrowing Eli's talit? The difference is that the guy who's borrowing Eli's talit to pray is borrowing it in order to fulfill the mitzvah of tzitzit. The one who's borrowing it from you to get an aliyah is not borrowing it from you to use the mitzvah of tzitzit. He's borrowing it from you because protocol is in that synagogue to wear a talit when you go up to the Torah. And he's not even having in mind to fulfill the mitzvah. So how would he make a blessing on it?
that's a good question.
So that's why he doesn't make a blessing.
Yeah.
Unless he's borrowing it from you, and you're telling him, I'm giving it to you as a gift, and he says, okay, and I'm going to fulfill the mitzvah of tzitzit with
Because
it.
he's not obligated to wear it anyway, except under the special circumstance.
Yes. No, he's not obligated because it's not his talit. He's not obligated in the mitzvah of tzitzit because he could wear this article of clothing without strings on it because it's not his. Add to that the fact that he doesn't want to fulfill the mitzvah with it.
I'm a little confused here because someone who's minhag, like a Sephardi, to wear a talit in Beit Knesset, it's a mitzvah for him to do it.
But he's not borrowing it from you at this point in time in order to wear a talit.
Right.
He's borrowing it from you at this point in time in order to get an aliyah.
I understand that. But the thing is that it's different of a Sephardic person.
Why would it be different?
Because a Sephardic man should have the talit on. He should be doing his...
So should
tefillah.
Ashkenazi man, or neither. I mean, either... All of us agree that you'd get a mitzvah with wearing a talit. Ashkenazim just don't believe you have to obligate yourself on that.
Young men wear talit katan,
Yeah.
but not the talit gadol, which is interesting. So they're still doing the brachot on the talit katan.
The Ashkenazi custom of not wearing a talit is found in a book called the Maharil. The
Heard
Maharil,
of it,
Doron
yeah.
Schwartz was my first crusader on this one. In a good way, a positive crusader. The Maharil says the reason why in Ashkenaz we don't wear a talit is because the parsha of tzitziot is right next to the parsha of getting married. So we connect these two mitzvot.
But that's an alliteration rather than...
Chavetz Chaim doesn't like this. Chavetz Chaim says he doesn't understand. So until you get married, you're never going to fulfill the mitzvah of talit.
I mean, you could also say, well, this parasha is next to this parasha, so you should do that. It seems like an interesting way to get a logical conclusion that would be
So the
halachically...
Chavetz Chaim didn't like this
Yeah.
attitude. And you should know, the original Ashkenazi custom is for young people to wear talitot. The original Ashkenazi Jews are Germans. So in Germany, all the boys wore talitot.
It seems different than, for example, where in Sota, where the woman has her head uncovered and drinks the bitter water, and then the next section is about the Nazir, who avoids
Right.
wine and drink.
But
There
that-
you can
that
make an
extrapolation
allusion.
is
It's
done-
different.
And it doesn't have a halachic... You're not
Aspect,
stopping
yes.
to do a mitzvah because of
Right, exactly. It seems different.
that. The Chavetz Chaim didn't like it. He writes on the Mishnah Berurah, he doesn't approve of this, but that's what everyone does. Clearly, I mean, the Maharil is a big enough rabbi that Ashkenazim can rely on. It just, in the world of today, where people are trying to fulfill all this crazy, strict opinions in all the different directions on things that are not even biblical, they're not even rabbinic. Think about all the laws of kashrut that people do on things that are not even biblical. But a talit, which is a biblical commandment, no one's willing to go the extra mile and say, you know what, I want my kid to be strict and wear a talit when he's 13. All of a sudden, that's violating tradition. It's a strange world we live in. It's people are, they pick and choose when they want to be strict and when they want to violate tradition.
Because it's impossible to do it on everything.
And I'm saying the original Ashkenazi custom is to wear a talit and bar mitzvah. It is. And so it's not something you could. It's not the Ashkenazim who don't wear talitot. It's that there were certain Ashkenazim that did not wear talitot, and somehow that became the rule as opposed to the exception.
About when did it become the rule?
I don't have an exact answer for you. It seems like it was in Western Europe. People wore talitot. In Eastern Europe, they didn't. Some want to pin this on financial reasons. Talitot are expensive. And in Germany, Jews were much more wealthy than the
Yeah.
Jews in the shtetl.
Yeah.
In Poland, this understanding that people got married when they were 14 also. So there was a year to wait.
Yeah.
And so in that year, okay, so it's not a big deal. But today, people get married much later than that. They're going for 15, 20 years without wearing a talit. That's already...
Yeah, I mean, it also creates a stratification in shul. You get this...
Who's married and who isn't.
Yeah.
It's easier for the young ladies.
I once recently had to put on tefillin without a talit. I felt naked in shul. And I don't know how to tell you otherwise than that. It feels like you're not wearing clothing.
Because you were in an Asha school, sure.
I just didn't have a talit, and the one that was to borrow wasn't really kosher. I just prayed without a talit. But I felt I wasn't wearing clothing. I can't imagine what a guy feels 15 years doesn't wear a talit ever.
Yeah.
It must be very strange. What do you want to have kavanah in the Amidah? You want to cover your head. You don't have anything to cover your head with. You're wearing short sleeves. You don't feel so comfortable. You want to maybe wrap yourself up in a talit. And it gets cold in the Beit Knesset. And you want to sleep during the Rabbi Dosha. Whatever you need your talit for. What do people do? You're a Kohen. At the very least, the Kohanim who have to go up and bless the people, they should wear talitot. They need it. It's like a computer programmer without a computer.
So
That's part of your job.
So bar mitzvah, what do? They just do it only during the aliyah, or they do it just if they're
Who?
like a bar mitzvah boy, Ashkenaz?
And
bar
Ashkenaz,
mitzvah?
well, just when he goes up to the Torah.
When he goes to-
And in a community like in some Hasidic communities where they don't wear talitot when they go to the Torah, they don't even wear a talit then. And especially since we know that you don't really fulfill an obligation with the small tzitzit that we wear under our clothing. That's kind of an extra stringency, but you don't fulfill the basic biblical commandment with most of our tzitzit. Let's finish the sentence. Vashoel talit shel bet hakneset. But if you borrow the talit, not a person's talit, but the synagogue talit,
Public.
it's public. Shenikneta al manat sheyuchal lishtamesh ba mi she'en lo talit. It was bought for the very reason that when a person needs a talit, they can use it. It's owned by everybody for everybody when they need their talit. Nevarech alai, you make a blessing on this talit. Mikol makom nitrama lebet hakneset tzorech shliach tzibur bilvad. If it was donated to the synagogue only for the chazan, it says chazan's talit on it. En Shaar mitpalim reshayim la'etatev ba. The other people cannot wear it. The kol sheken she'enan reshayim levarech alai. They're not even able to make a blessing on it, but they can't even wear it, let alone make a blessing on it. This is ramification. I've seen some people sometimes they go up to the, they're praying later than the minyan. They go up to the table, not like what we have here. We just have a siddur that says chazan. They have like a special chazan siddur, and it's meant for big letters to be able to lead services. And they decide, hey, I'm lazy. I want to pray with the big one. They take it to their seat. They use it. That's not your siddur. This siddur was donated to the synagogue for the person who stands at the bima to use.
Yeah.
It's meaning it's property of the community, but with a very specific purpose.
Yeah.
It's like just because you belong to a synagogue doesn't mean that you could take the mechitza home with you. It's the mechitza, you could use it in the Beit Knesset when you have an event that's there for you, but this is
That's
not, it's public property in the sense that not everyone can take it home, but everyone can use it in the way it was donated to be used. Understand?
Well, if the guy's
Yeah.
not getting along with his wife, having the mechitza there, doesn't
Yeah,
have to ever
right.
argue with her.
Should I give you a
Right.
more practical example? A person can't come to the Beit Knesset, hey listen, I am technically allowed to be here every day of the week. It doesn't apply so much in Beit Knesset as much as in yeshivas. Rabbi Yonatan was very strict with us about this. I can come to the Kehillat every day of the week, right? So technically I can drink a glass of water every time I'm here. So technically I deserve 7 cups a week. So I'm going to take home 7 cups every week to use in my office. That's the calculation, like I'm entitled to my 7 cups. This cup was donated to the Knesset or bought with money that belongs to the public, not for you to take home, but for you to use here when you're here.
My son is a doctor, 30, so that nonsense. 7 cups.
7, but in yeshiva this is the problem. Boys would always take stashes of forks and knives and spoons and ketchups and mustards. And Rabbi Yonatan tells us that all the Torah that you learned that day, and you use that spoon afterwards to mix your coffee in your dorm room, so you are stealing from the yeshiva, and all your Torah goes out of the window. You're a ganav who violated the 10 Commandments. And it's something to teach a person property. Someone's property is not your property.
Yeah.
Even if it's your property in the sense that you're part of the community. So nobody's walking away with, and we're not losing so many cups here in the Beit Knesset. Once upon a time I was a rabbi in the Beit Knesset. And another power being the Beit Knesset complained that we used too many cups. So I went out of my way to go buy special cups that were different than the cups that we use, that they used, to make sure that people know we're using our own cups, only our cups. God forbid, why should a person come to the Beit Knesset, pray all of Yom Kippur, and on the Yom Kippur they use a cup that someone else says, I don't want you to steal my cup from me. It's like Sodom, I don't want to steal my cup from me, like we said in the beginning of the class. But still, they have the right to say, I bought something and I only want me to use it, or my members to use it. In that situation, that's not steal.
We are add more in Yom Kippur.
It's an important thing. These are good things to know. So in halakha, you come to the Beit Knesset and you see that something was donated for the community, you're entitled to use it. You are, just like the talit. You're able to make a bracha. And perhaps when someone comes to borrow a talit, you'll say, it's better for you, instead of borrowing my talit and getting yourself in halachic arguments, take one from the table over there.
Yeah.
And that is good for everyone. Everyone should have a good
Zakhar.
evening.
Yeah.